The only reason that CBS has not already taken Stephen Colbert off the air is because I promise you, although we will probably never know, we'll probably never see the evidence because of NDAs, but I can tell you right now, from education and experience, the only reason that Stephen Colbert is still there is because breaking the contract early would be so financially untenable as to be a problem. This is what happened earlier this week. CBS canceling The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, citing a financial decision. Oh, I bet they did. And I talked about this in a custom video on the main channel, as I mentioned earlier, before you guys went bananas. TV's ongoing problems with late night have come for Stephen Colbert, with CBS announcing Thursday that it plans to end his late show after the next TV season, citing a, quote, financial decision. The maneuver, which ends years of original late night programming at CBS that started when the network lured David Letterman from NBC in 1993, comes as the economics of wee hours TV have been deteriorating, with media companies growing wary of the high price tags involved in producing the shows, while the young viewers they try to attract watch more of them via digital video. Now, let me be very clear on this. And people out there in the social media ecosphere have been touting this as some type of Greek travesty, because, Stephen Colbert had the biggest audience-ish, quote, whatever, who gives a shit? Stephen Colbert allegedly had the biggest audience on late night TV, but not in total. He had the biggest audience on late night TV for the major over-the-air broadcasters. And by that, I mean CBS, ABC, and NBC, and Fox, but not Fox News, because Greg Gutfeld smoked Stephen Colbert by a couple of million viewers every night. And Stephen Colbert was the biggest dog when it came to ABC, NBC, CBS. All right? Stephen Colbert wasn't drawing the key demo anymore. He wasn't drawing that 18 to 35-year-old group anymore. That was going down the tubes. And the problem with late night hosts in the more modern era, and when I say the modern era, I'm talking about post Johnny Carson, okay? We're going back 30-something freaking years here. I'm talking post Johnny Carson. It's not the same. The younger demo, the key demo, is not going to late night television anymore, especially when you have people like Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert over here, who are a bunch of pissant, whiny brats, a bunch of ass little leftists. Most people, and this is an observation that Rush Limbaugh made decades ago, the reason that left-wing liberal talk media doesn't work is because most people out there, just as it was back in the 90s, although maybe to a lesser extent today, because of the degradation of society, most people still don't want to hear people like Stephen Colbert and people like Jimmy Kimmel get on their hands and knees and suck from the garden hose of government. And most people don't want to hear people bitch and moan about how bad they think America is. That's the bottom line. Stephen Colbert, he hated America. He hated this country. He hated the flyover states, red America, middle America, all this kind of stuff. Stephen Colbert was one of these types of people that believed that everybody does or should think like the freaks, fruits, and granola bars in places like left coast California and the East Coast in New York and New England. Those places are not American. They are the least American places in geographic America now. And people are tired of it. And there is a lot of whining and bitching out there right now on social media that Stephen Colbert was fired for censorship. Censorship. It's like, it's one of these things that is so stupid because the left especially does not understand the concept of censorship. The left does not understand what censorship actually is. Censorship is when the government comes downstairs and slaps you across the head and says, you can't say that. When a private business, but Valiant, it's public, it's a public company, it's traded on the stock exchange, it's still a private business. It's not owned by the government. People don't understand the concept between public and private anymore either. That's a real problem I have. But then again, I'm just a Gen Xer. We were the last generation to get the shit right. And I know I have a lot of Gen Xers in the audience. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. But you have this whining and bitching that he's been censored when he's not been censored. CBS has simply made a very conscientious decision, a financial decision that, hey, and look, to my knowledge, unless I've missed something, chat, y'all tell me if I'm wrong. I'm not aware that any actual numbers have come out. I'm not aware that any actual financial figures have been released in terms of what Stephen Colbert was asking for upon his contract renewal in 2026. Because all we know is that CBS has said, nope, we're good. Okay, walk, we're good, fine, bye. What if Stephen Colbert was asking some obscene amount? I mean, what if Colbert was asking for like $30 million a year? Remember they were paying on MSNBC? They were paying like Joy Reid, or they were paying the 10-year-old boy looking lesbian, Rachel Maddow. What was she? She was getting like $25 million a year to bring in one of the audiences on cable TV. Why? Because she was a lesbian that looked like a 10-year-old boy. That was it. That was why she was getting paid that much. That's called DEI. When you're actually getting hired and paid vastly more than you're worth, because there's no way the revenue on MSNBC for advertising sales was justifying some of these people's salaries over there. Why? If MSNBC was so successful with their beta male and lesbian cast that they have over there, or bald-headed black women like Joy Reid, people that are so harsh on the eyes, people that have nothing of any intelligence to say, if it was so successful, somebody tell me why the hell is Comcast spinning off that entire decrepit, dead-ass wing of the company? They wouldn't be doing it. It literally validates everything that most sane people have known for decades, that these things are failures being propped up by other sources of revenue that are more lucrative, that are still in the cultural zeitgeist, although may also themselves be declining. Does this sound familiar? It should. Renegade Nation out there, should sound familiar to you. Guys in the audience, what else out there besides the news media that we're talking about right here? What else out there have we talked about for years that has been an abject failure for the last, let's say, 5 years? And people ask, how could this have continued on but for the subsidizing by more financially lucrative aspects? Come on. Oh, people, yeah, come on, chat. Keep saying it. Keep saying it. Keep saying it. Y'all got it out there. Look, yep. Yep, that's all. Yep, exactly. Disney. Paramount is not Disney. CBS is not Disney. They do not have the backstop of the theme parks that we've been talking about. That is why this shit show right here is off the air as of next year. And I'm going to tell you right now, if CBS and Paramount could have pulled the plug this week, they would have. The only reason, and hear me out, the only reason that CBS has not already taken Stephen Colbert off the air is because, I promise you, although we will probably never know, we'll probably never see the evidence because of NDAs, but I can tell you right now, from education and experience, the only reason that Stephen Colbert is still there is because breaking the contract early would be so financially untenable as to be a problem. Like I told people in the video earlier this week, part of the issue with letting Stephen Colbert go early is because they've already done upfronts this year. They've already pre-sold a lot of advertising for the Stephen Colbert show through the end of the season in 2026, summer of 2026. They also have a contract still with Colbert through 2026. So not only would CBS have to write a big, fat, ugly check for early termination to Stephen Colbert, which they don't want to do in the midst of a major merger with Skydance, but they also would wind up having to probably refund a metric ton of advertising dollars to people that pre-bought this show at the upfronts. So there's no way to do this. So of course, they're going to keep Colbert on, and they have made the announcement now that we're leaving, and that's going to be through the end of 2026. So when people ask me, why didn't they just go ahead and get rid of Colbert now if the issue of all of this was Trump, that, and the other thing? That's why. And it also puts the arguments of the left to bed. This was a purely money decision. And yes, part of the money decision was that Stephen Colbert is indeed a loose cannon. He's an idiot. He is the hall monitor of the short bus for liberal or at least one of them. But Skydance and the Ellisons are not so stupid as to chop their own feet off. Because during a transition process at this scale, and we're talking $10 billion plus, there has got to be some reservation of personal feelings. Even if we thought the Ellisons were diehard MAGA people, which I'm not saying they are at all, but even if they were, right? If this were D-Day Cobra that was walking in and buying CBS right here, then not even D-Day Cobra, not even Jeremy would dump him early, because it would be a financially untenable decision. So that's why he's going to hang around for an extra year. So again, we're going to put Hollywood through the business and financial lens of reality. We're going to put dumb stuff like this and politics through the business and financial lens of reality, even though this is still certainly, absolutely Hollywood and media adjacent. No question. No question. But it does bridge the gap. Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.